Yo, yo. What is good, y'all? It is another day in paradise. I'm here with my effing Santa Cup. You know what, Corey? I got to start. Remember, I can't start dropping f bombs in the first 30 seconds of the show.
They're not ready for it this early.
not, not this early, man. Yes, this is Getting in the Green with Perfect Strangers. It is your boy back at it again. It's Duro, and I am joined with my partner in crime, man, Corey. Corey, what's good with you, baby?
Oh man, a little rough night there for DFS, but as far as basketball goes, man, we got to watch history, so that's always a good night.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got a huge card, man. Not so much on yesterday, but let's get right into it as far as our night last night. We kind of stayed off the games. You did make some plays in DFS, which was kind of cool. Um, but hey, my only play was Toronto first half. You see how that went? That was a terrible play. It looked good. It
Yeah,
just looked good, but it really wasn't. But yeah, what was really good, man, was watching the historic night at Madison Square Garden. A beautiful, beautiful sight. Steph breaks the 3-point record. He breaks Ray Allen's 3-point record. He did it quite. I can say easily. He made 2 out of 3, which broke the record. I noticed, Corey, right off the bat that the Knicks weren't trying to play or trying to lock him down. Really, I mean, they clamped in on him, but you didn't see the double teams. You didn't see them, really trying to work them hard. I think they just knew that this record was going to be broken. It was just, hey, play your game. But yeah, we have a new 3-point champion, what we would call the 3-point GOAT, the best shooter in the league, in the world right now. What were your thoughts on that historic performance?
yeah, I figured the Knicks would come out regular. It's one thing to stop a guy like Steph Curry from hitting 7 threes against you. Trying to stop him from hitting 2 when he's pulling up from half court 5 times a game wasn't going to happen. So I
Yeah,
respect the Knicks for not trying to halt history. And Steph didn't play that good. The
yeah,
Warriors didn't play that good. I'm hoping now that this is over, we can get back to their old basketball, but something just seems off right there in their offense, and it's more than just Steph shooting threes. The offense is stagnant. They're going to need Clay back sooner than later if they really want to make a push here through the West.
yeah, man. It was very, very, very different. I mean, you did see the offense a little off during this little stretch, which was fine. We knew that was going to happen, but I also thought that the game would kind of get back to normal, and it didn't, man. Knicks kind of almost got away with this, but of course, you had that third quarter push that always happens, and again, yeah, the doggone Warriors, they ink it out. They get a win, Henser. So I was happy with the performance, but yeah, let's see if we get some good ball going now that everything is back to normal. Was emotional for Steph, so I'm happy for the brother. I've always been a Steph fan. I really have. I can't say nothing bad about the brother at all. I've been a great fan of Steph. I hope he crushes this record with many more years to come. So Corey, we got a slate today, bro.
Oh
We
yeah,
had 3 games, and now we're at 4 games. Excuse me, we had 4 games, and then one was postponed because of COVID. Looks like that's happening now today. So we may be getting some news in some way, shape, or form about more players going into health and safety protocols. So yeah, we've got to tread lightly here because you might not have some games going on depending on what these test results are at throughout the day today. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I do like some games today. The first one being Atlanta Hawks against the Magic. Yeah, man. This game right now, it opened at 7.5. This line right now that I'm looking on covers. Now I'll do a lot of toggling back and forth, but I'll look at covers. I'll look at ESPN.com as well. So there may be different numbers. Also, we're early to a lot of and so some of these games, some of these lines aren't even available yet until while the show is going on. So if we have to update the lines, we will. But for now, we'll just go by what we had either last night or the night before. Let's get into it, man. Magic versus the Hawks. Hawks are coming off a terrible loss coming off a terrible loss to Houston, 44 quarter in the fourth, 44 points in the fourth. Couldn't believe it, man. Could not believe it, man. I just, one of those things to where if you look at how they just totally had that fourth quarter meltdown, I don't think it's going to happen again. I don't think it's going to happen again here. Before I get into my commentary about it, what are your thoughts on this game? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good game environment today. I think Atlanta will be able to beat Orlando, but we'll hold judgment on that. As far as DFS goes, there's not the problem with today is what might be a good play right now is not going to be the play once all this COVID news comes out. So I'm going to hold off on putting lineups together, but just as far as players I'd be looking at, Franz Wagner is probably a good play tonight. Wendell Carter Jr. is pretty reasonably priced. And then if you want to get into Clint Capella at center, but there's a couple good center plays later this evening. So, yeah, I mean, this is just going to be – we don't even know what games are going to play. Every one of these teams has to retest this morning.
Right.
And the value plays are going to be whoever replaces these COVID guys. So it looks like these two teams are fairly healthy, if you could say that. The Hawks have some injuries. But as far as what's happening to some of these other teams, this is one of the healthier games on the slate. So there might not be too many plays out of this one tonight.
Yeah, man. So I was looking at the lines on yesterday, and I wrote in my notes, Atlanta should smell blood here. They pretty much tricked that game off. Like I said, they gave up 44 points to Houston in the fourth. If you notice at the end of that game, man, there was no shaking hands at all. Trey was so mad. He just left, so I think right now it's a game to where that was an 11.5 spread that they were supposed to cover, right, to Houston. And now you have a 8 here. I think that's kind of tricky. So unless there's something going on with the lineups, I do actually see that this one's wrong here. I'm sorry about it. I'm going to get Guy on Couch in trouble, but it's the Magic. It's not the Brooklyn Nets. I just noticed that. Tell you got this guy working at 4 a.m, man. This is what happens. But yeah, in my opinion, this should be smacked. They should take everything they have and put it into this game. Orlando is allowing 118 points. So I was looking at the team total for this game as well. I just think this is a game that can get out of hand for Atlanta or for the Magic. And so I'm looking heavy into Atlanta's team total. Atlanta's team total is what I'm looking at here. If you look at their last games, it's just one of those things, man, to where Atlanta shouldn't have any problem putting up points. They're going to give up points as well, but I just don't think the Magic can stop them, especially now that they're out for blood here. So we'll see what happens with this game. But my lean right now on this game is Atlanta team total over. That's where I'm looking at right now. Atlanta team total over. All right, so we're going to bounce around here. The next game that we do have on the deck is the New Orleans Pelicans at Portland Trailblazers. We know Portland just won an overtime game yesterday, right? Not even a couple, just a few hours ago, if you want to call it that. Heavy minutes by Dame. They did lose that game by 4 points. I believe the score was 111 to 107. I was watching the game. This is another game they had in the bag, Corey. It was like, wait a minute. Holy cow.
I don't want to cut you off, Daryl, but we got New Orleans against OKC.
Okay. I'm going to take off these tickers here, man. You know why? I'm telling you, I'm going to fire the guy on the couch. Woo, the things you do when you're doing games, man, at 5:30 in the morning. How about this, Corey? How about we just don't use the ticker?
Fair enough. We got the graphics, though.
We got the graphics. Yeah. We'll have to get that under control. This is even better. New Orleans and OKC. I'm going to look at my notes here, man. What I saw yesterday, that line was 2.5 at 210.5. I'm going to look at it now, and I am seeing New Orleans. Yeah, it's now OKC plus 2. 54% of the side is on New Orleans. What do you have here as far as a play? Me personally, I don't have any play, but if we look really deep into it, just last 10, OKC is 2-10, New Orleans is 5-5. Both of these are 8-win teams. I don't really have a play here. I'll just make that just flat out, you know, uh, 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 I mean, shit, it's OKC in New Orleans. So
Yeah.
do you have any plays or any lanes that you're looking here, or are there any players that you're looking at to play in your DFS?
These are two teams again that kind of already dealt with their COVID situation. So we got two healthy teams here again. Yeah, man, I feel like I'm kind of like ambulance chasing tonight, but I'm just waiting for this COVID news to come out so I can play their replacements. So yeah, there's not much in this game that I'm looking at here.
Yeah, my whole theory is you don't bet on shit teams unless you really, really, really have to, right? Unless you really have to. Please do not bet on shit teams. And this is one of those cases. I do see on the injury report that you have Lou Dort is questionable. Did you by chance hear that stat yesterday that Lou Dort is behind Steph as the most games played, or not most games played? Let me get this right. He also has like 1.5, or he's making 2 threes a game.
He's been putting them up, man. For a guy that couldn't hit the side of the backboard last year, he's made leaps and bounds in his 3-point shooting this year. I didn't
Yeah.
know that stat though, but that's yeah, he seems to have really taken an offensive role. I'm showing him as out for this game though.
Okay. Well, I'm
So
seeing questionable here. I'd have to look. Of course, the injury reports are different across the board depending on which site you go through, but I'm seeing questionable. If the best one to look at really is the official injury report, or Lou Dort's, or excuse me, or the what do you call it? The underdog NBA underdog. That guy there is really, really good as far as getting the most up to date reports. Also, he just goes right off the injury report from the official NBA injury report anyway. So, those are the two I look at. But yeah, if he's out, he's out. I did see something on yesterday, so we will see. We will see here. But yeah, absolutely, this is a no play for me whatsoever. Nothing I want to get involved in here. So we will go into the next game. Next game we do have on the deck is Charlotte at San Antonio. I saw this line as well. It was 3.5 with the 228 last night. I'm looking at it now, see if this line has moved any whatsoever. And I don't see that it has. It is still 3.5. And that is at right now, yeah, 228, 3.5. So that hasn't changed from last night. I'm going to tell you this. Depending on the news, and I don't think we have any news really coming out of San Antonio, and Charlotte has technically started to come out of their little COVID scare, right? We do have LaMelo that's cleared. Terry Rozier had already been cleared to play. I'm going to tell you what, I was looking at some crazy numbers yesterday regarding San Antonio. Do you know when they have these long breaks, man, they win? They win games, right?
give
So
Popovich too much time, man, and
yeah,
he'll
you
put
give them
something
too
together.
much time, Corey. Yeah, you give them too much time to game plan, and they win. I could completely understand the number here. It's so funny that looking at just covers again, 73% of the side is on San Antonio, and I would completely agree here. Completely agree here. If we're going to go by the star player theory, if LaMelo's playing today, that's not going to really be good for the Hornets. You always fade the team when the star player comes back on his first game. So I do understand the line here. I like it a lot. I'm surprised it really didn't get pounded. So I'm curious to see what happens also during the end, closer to tip off here. But I am heavy, heavy, heavy leaning San Antonio. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I remember San Antonio played Boston, and it was that break again. And I was looking at the numbers, and it's the same thing. This could easily be a San Antonio trifecta. So I do like San Antonio here. What is your look on this game?
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's just been the best pace up spot in the NBA as of late. So you've got to give the Spurs a look here tonight. DeJounte Murray, if you want to spend the money. But I mean, I think you could even get away with Derek White, Jakob Poeltl, Keldon Johnson. I think LaMelo is out for conditioning, even though he's back from COVID.
Right.
So we've got, the Charlotte teams, they're good. They score. They didn't look great with Terry Rozier back.
Yeah.
So I think San Antonio takes care of this one. And I think the Spurs players are probably the play tonight, depending on
Yeah.
some news. But this is going to be a high scoring game. And yeah, I think the Spurs, they just got great matchups across the board. I know Mason Plumlee might come back tonight, but even if he does, I could see him being limited in minutes. So I'm not too concerned with that for the Charlotte defense improving. So Spurs tonight are the play.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're real comfortable with that side too. You can agree with that line being 3.5.
Yeah, especially at home. They should
Yeah.
handle the Hornets here.
Yeah, I do. It's funny how you've seen how, I guess, if you want to call it that, how top heavy the Hornets really are. Because when all those players went out, you would think that you would get some really good play from Gordon Hayward, and for the most part, man, it was just okay, whatever. You need all those set pieces in. So yeah, I am heavy leaning San Antonio here. We will see what this line does, if anything. But I do believe they get it done. I'm right there with you on that game. I'm looking at another model really quick here. It was funny. They had this game 241 and the Spurs by 5.5. That seems about right.
Yeah, they finally got it. They finally got it right here.
Yeah, that seems about right. So yeah, that model shows that this is going to be a high scoring game. I would definitely lean the over and definitely take San Antonio Spurs here. All right, next game, man. We are kind of breezing along here. It is myself, Corey. We were looking at games early this morning. I guess we'll put the ticker that is right, and that is Game with the Green with the Perfect Strangers. Guy on couches. We're out, man. We're gonna have to talk with him offline, Corey. We maybe have to audition for a new guy on couch. Is that how this is gonna go?
That's a tough sell this early in the morning.
Minnesota at the Denver Nuggets. That line was also off. Looking at my notes, this was 4.5 with no total. Right now, it is Denver minus 4.5 with a total of 219. That's just based on covers here. This should be a Denver route, right? I mean, we were texting each other and he was like, damn, Joker got ejected. Right. So that really killed your D.
With like 10 minutes left and decides to get thrown out of the game.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Joker's not himself, man. He's turning more into gangster Joker this year, bro. I mean,
we're finding he's got anger problems.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy pushed Markieff Morris so hard he hasn't come back still, and that was like
that is crazy, bro.
From that, so
yeah, that is crazy, man. I mean, Markieff, I don't think people, realize that dude has been gone ever since Joker pushed his ass out, and they really didn't want no smoke with none of his brothers. So, people are not really looking at that. I mean, the dude has not come back. That neck injury or that back, whatever it is, man, he gave him whiplash, something terrible. But Joker is quietly turning into his older brothers on the court. He is not as mild-mannered. He was your MVP as far, of the league last year. And I was watching some YouTube videos. Jimmy High Roller just really explaining how efficient he is and has been. So, when he's on the court, this team wins and they win pretty efficiently. But this record here is not a good one. It's not a good one at all. 14-13 for Denver. They're 8-4 at home, with Minnesota being 5-6 on the road. Right now, Denver's 5-5 in the last 10 in their ATS, while Minnesota is 4-6. Looking at some trends here, Minnesota is over 4-0 the last 4 games overall. Over is 4-0 in Timberwolves' last 4 after allowing 100 points and 100 points and more in their previous game. Over is 4-0 in the Timberwolves' last 4, scoring 100 points or more in their previous game. Over is 5-1 in Timberwolves' last 6 Wednesdays games. This game just screams over. We thought, I was looking at some numbers. You would think that Joker would kind of slow the pace down, Not so much. Not so much here. They are scoring points. What do you like in this game? Who do you like in this game? Which side are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the only guy I'm looking at in this game is the Joker. I think he's the best spend up option every night at this point until somebody slows him down. Also, Minnesota is dead last in the league at giving up offensive rebounds. So this is Joker's game to dominate. Karl Anthony Towns, Naz Reid, whoever ends up playing in the middle against this guy, they're going to get torn up. So I'm not
Yeah.
touching anything on this game besides the Joker. And I think with all the COVID news coming out, you shouldn't have any issue finding enough value to play him tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I was looking at their last game. Denver won that game 91-93. So it was a low scoring game. Mind you, it was a back to back for Denver. And, it was one of those games to where it almost got away from them, but they came back and fought. I don't think that's the case here. I think you're going to see a lot of points scored in this game. I would lean the over, but that 4.5 makes sense. This could be what you would want to call a revenge game for Minnesota. I don't see it here. I don't see it. I'm not really a big fan of anybody on Minnesota for the exception of Ant-Man. That's my guy. Have you seen any value with him, Corey, and playing him or putting him in your lineup? I mean, the guy's a scoring machine here. So why are you or are you not heavy on Ant-Man?
He's just overpriced, man. I do his scoring, but his auxiliaries are pretty low. His rebounds and assists don't stand out. Um, it's just kind of one of those things. If he goes out and scores you 30, then he'll make value. But if he has one of those games where it's 25, 24, he's just going to have a hard time getting to that value point, especially when I do like playing Ant-Man when one of those other guys is out. But when they're all healthy, him, Russell, Towns, they just get spread around a little too much. And if he's not extremely hot, then he kind of just coasts. He'll score his 22, and he doesn't do much else on the court. So it really just depends on the situation for him.
Yeah, it's funny that he's a scoring machine, but yeah, that's about it. He's still a young guy, though. I think he is a superstar in the making. He might have just pretty much booted Cat out of Minnesota, if you ask me. So we will see. We will see what his stats look like in the second half of the season if he adapts more to the game. But right now, he's a scoring machine. So yeah, my lean here is Denver. I think it's going to be a game that's going to get away, but we will see later what happens with this number. But yeah, my lean is Denver minus 4.5 on this game as well. All right, man. We are moving along here. Now, it's the Wizards, as a guy on couch calls them, the Bullets, and the Sacramento Kings with the Z. Yeah, this game right now, this opened up at 1.5. Looking at my notes because this was one of the last games. It moved up to Sacramento's favor. It was 1 last night. There was no total when I was writing my notes for this game. Right now, it is 225.5, man. 225.5. Sacramento minus 1.5. Sacramento has an under 500 record with 11-17 being their record, while Washington, remember Washington had a good start, man. Everybody was like, yo, like Washington is the squad right now. And that's just not the case right now. They have taken a serious backseat to their competition. Last 10, they are 4-6 with 2-7-1 ATS, while Sacramento's 5-5 last 10 and 5-5 ATS here. They're 5-8 at home, while Washington is quietly 4-11 on the road. So Washington sucks on the road right now. Just terrible on the road. I looked at this game. I said this game doesn't have any interest to me, but there's some stats and numbers showing that actually Sacramento does pretty good first half while Washington doesn't. So if I had a lean here, I would definitely look at Sacramento first half in this game. Is there anything you like, dislike, any players that you have on this game, Corey? Let me know.
Yeah, I'm looking at with Rashawn Holmes out again. Marvin Bagley is probably a good value tonight at 4,500, and then Terrence Davis has just carved out a role in his team at $4,000 at this point. So I would go cheap on these Sacramento guys. Washington, man, I know Kuz might be back here, but there's just not much. They spread the ball around pretty well. And so for me, it's just be the cheap guys on Sacramento, but I'm not super interested in this game, and I'm not even sure it gets to that total. Washington surprisingly does play decent defense nowadays. So yeah, maybe a couple value plays here, but not much on this game really.
Yeah, this was a crazy stat. So the Sacramento Kings are over 500 in first half games where they cover the spread, and the Wizards are under 500. Even though the Wizards have a better record than Sacramento, and technically their overall record, they're still better. I mean, they're 15-13, so they're over 500, right? So that just tells me that Sacramento is winning games in the first half and losing full games, and the Wizards are losing games in the first half but winning full games. So it's a tricky situation. I would lean Sacramento first half, but I just still don't like what I'm seeing out of the Wizards. So I am completely off of this game right now. But like I said, my lean would be first half here. All right, man. Next game that we do have, this is the real damn game. This is the real game here. Memphis at Portland. Memphis at Portland. I think Memphis gets it done here. Revenge game for Memphis right now. This is Portland -1. Let me see if this line has moved at all here. Right now, I would think a lot of money would come in on. Yeah, so that's crazy. So it flipped. So last night, when I was doing my notes for this game, it was Portland -1, which was crazy to me. I was like, why would it be Portland -1 here? It was a back-to-back, or this is their second game of a back-to-back. They went into overtime. A ton of minutes come out of Portland. And now you're playing a streaking hot Memphis team. Streaking hot Memphis team. So that line looks like it has flipped. It is now Portland being the home dogs, Portland +1. That number is 219.5. I love Memphis last night, and I still love them. I still absolutely love Memphis in this spot. My notes tell me this. Memphis is on a tear and teams are barely getting over the century mark. So not only is Memphis winning games, man, but they're playing some good clamp down defense. So I like Memphis here. I do believe this is an angle to where Memphis should be able to get it done and get it done easily. Even though Portland put up a good fight against Phoenix, I still believe Memphis is the play tonight. Who do you like? If there are any sides that you like, or people, player, person, or thing, what do you like on this game?
Yeah, I like Memphis here. I wouldn't touch any of the Portland guys coming off those kind of minutes. I'm even interested to see who plays and who sits tonight.
Yeah.
As far as Memphis goes, man, I think I think you got to give Desmond Bane a look here at 6,300 tonight. And then Tyus Jones has surprisingly been, stuffing the stat sheet when he plays. So maybe one of these cheap guards here for Memphis, but I do think Portland puts up little to no effort defensively tonight, so Memphis should do what they want with them.
Yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely agree. If you see what Memphis is doing, their whole body of work, man, they're kind of getting on a little streak here, and it's funny that they're doing this without Ja. So I was going to ask it, have you seen any value just besides this game of Desmond Bane in the past? Because I know he's putting up a decent body of work, but he's kind of streaky, right? He's not that consistent. So are you trying to learn when to pick your spots with Desmond, or how is that working?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to really the way Memphis has been playing. If you think they're going to blow somebody out, he's probably not the best play because he's the first person they're resting.
Right.
So the last game he blew out, he played 21 minutes. If you think it's semi-competitive, then he's a great play every night right now without Morant. So if he's getting a full complement of minutes, he seems to be getting it done recently.
Yeah, man, I would totally agree here. I did like Desmond Bane when John went out because he did show some promise in the beginning. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm definitely heavy lean on Memphis here. Heavy lean on Memphis. All right, man. Next game we have on the board, Corey, is Dallas Mavericks against the Los Angeles Lakers. Dallas is at home. Lakers are traveling. They landed and touched down last night. As soon as they touched down, LeBron James tweeted, "Congratulations to Steph Curry." This is another one that's kind of crazy. I saw this line yesterday, and it was Dallas -2 with no total. And now we have Dallas +1, so they're home dogs with the line being 215. I'm going to tell you right now, man, I agree with this line movement. I was heavy on LA. last night, and the notes I wrote was said this should be a Lakers spot. Um, Dallas has had a long little break. This is the first meeting this year. We should get a good game without Luka. I do like LA in this spot here. It's a slow paced team versus LA, who's kind of picked it up a little bit. I am a Laker fan, man, but I'll be quick to tell you that I will not bet or play the Lakers because they have been just such a disappointment of a team this year. Last 10, man, 6-4. They're also 15-13. Same record as the Wizards, so they're over 500. But if you see how they've been playing these last few games, they've kind of turned it up a notch here. Dallas is quietly 14-13. Last 10, 4-6. They are 12-15 at home. So they're actually that's 18, or excuse me, take that back. 4-9 at home in their last 10, 7-6 at home, which is their record total. So I think here, Corey, I think here you find a good spot for the Lakers to win this game on this road trip. I do believe they get it done. The Lakers are 5-6 on the road. I think they're going to even it up to be 6-6 after tonight said and done. I like the Lakers here. Give me the +1 or the -1 for the Lakers. I think it's a Lakers spot here. I am heavy leaning on the Lakers. Now, this is another one that I'm going to stay away from because you don't know what's happening with these testings. We do have Taylor Horton Tucker, who he is positive, right? Or not positive, but he is in health and safety protocols, right?
Yep.
Well, at least LeBron shouldn't go back in. He just had COVID, or was that a false read or something? I don't know, man. But we'll see what happens with this testing today. Wouldn't be surprised if he has some more people pop positive for, COVID-19. What do you have here on this game?
Yeah, I'm looking here. I've got a couple, just the Laker depth is kind of shot right now. We've got Dwight Howard out, Malik Monk is out, Talon Horton Tucker's out. And I am concerned with how they cancel their practice if some of these guys might test positive this morning. So
yeah,
I do like the Lakers if nothing crazy happens here. Dallas without Luka have not looked good. I'm not touching anything yet on DFS here. I do want to see this news, though, because if a couple more Laker guys go out, then they might just play the starters as many minutes as they can handle, and those guys would be great plays tonight.
You think Porzingis is playing pretty good. Do you like him, or is he overvalued as well? Is there too much money to buy him?
He has his good games. Last game was a great game, 53 fantasy points. I just don't know if this is the best matchup for him. You're probably going to be staring at Anthony Davis, especially with Howard out. I think Davis runs the 5 here, and I think he'll match up on Porzingis defensively, though. So you kind of want to pick your spots with Porzingis. If it's a good game flow, he's a great play.
Yeah.
He doesn't handle resistance very well. So if somebody's really trying to play defense on him, he tends to just kind of pass the ball off and float off into the sunset there. So
yeah,
it's just not his game. He's a free flowing kind of transition player, even with his size. So yeah, depending on the COVID news here coming out of the Lakers, he may or may not be a good play. But for right now, I'm going to stay off of Dallas completely.
Yeah, you got to stay off this game until you see what these tests look like. That's going to be the game changer there, if you ask me. That's going to be the game changer. All right, man. We've got another game that I am looking forward to not seeing. And the reason why is because I really hate Utah. That head coach is a serial killer. I think he is. In the offseason, I think he has some body somewhere. Snyder Quinn is what I call him. Against the Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers. No one really cares about the Clippers in LA. Just that is a second-rate team in comparison to my beloved Lakers. I'm going to tell you now, this is a smash spot for the Utah Jazz. I don't care what the points are. This actually went down a point, though. Looking at the games last night, this number was at -9.5 with a total of 215. I am now seeing Utah at -8.5 with a total of 216.5 here. I don't care. Utah is quietly ranked number 1 in points per game, and they're quietly ranked number 1 in points per game even in the last 3. They are keeping momentum, and they are just outright getting things done. They're averaging over 120 points a game, man. 120 points a game. You got some key players who are probably out here for Clippers. Paul George is questionable. I think Nick Batum is either questionable or out, something that came down. Um, so this is a game to where if you've got any of your scores, primarily Paul George, you're not going to beat these guys at the three. So I am heavy on Utah here. It's a heavy lean for me. Haven't gotten there yet because we will see what happens with testing here. But I do like Utah. I'm not afraid of the points here. This could easily be a Utah trifecta. Easily. What do you like here? Any players, props,
I like
sides? What do
Utah
you
here
got?
tonight, man. Utah at home is just a different beast. They use that
Yeah.
altitude really well, especially with their pace of play. I do say though, with that being said, like Utah's probably one of the most unplayable teams in fantasy, just because they just attack you from everywhere. There's no outside of Mitchell, and even Mitchell has games where he just kind of lays off. This game kind of screams blowout to me, so I'd be
Yeah,
wary
man.
of playing anybody in this game. If Paul George doesn't go, Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard become decent plays. But even if Paul George plays, I don't think the Clippers can keep pace with this Utah team here.
Yeah, Utah is very well rested, bro.
Yeah.
They have not played at all, man. I was just looking. They last played was the 12th, right? Or the 11th. 11th. I mean, that's 4 days off. You're at the beginning of your homestand to where you're just going to stay home. So you should blow the Clippers out here, right? You should blow San Antonio out in 2 days. You do have a back-to-back against Washington, which possibly could get out of hand. And then you end it with Charlotte, right? So, man, there ain't nothing about this. What do you have? 3 and 4. That's going to tell me that you're going. Or is it 4 and 5? Yeah, it's 4 and 5. No, you can't do that. I always get those mixed up. But this homestand, this homestand, there's nothing about here that tells me that Clippers even have a chance, at least tonight. You're going to get them at their most refreshed. They're freshest, if anything. If you don't have Kawhi in there, good luck. Good luck, man. Good luck at all. All right, man. Next game we have on the deck is Rockets at Cleveland Cavaliers. Rockets at Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a game I'm actually excited for. I'm excited about this game. This is the first game on the slate, actually. Two hot teams right now, and you're having a Houston team that just went into Atlanta and smacked Atlanta. Smacked Atlanta. And now the books, I believe, are really starting to respect Cleveland, right? This is a large number for a team where Houston, they just, they were on their streak, man, but they just lost their last two before beating Atlanta, and that was against Memphis and Milwaukee. But they did cover the spread. So Houston is covering spreads, right? So looking at this game, I've been going to the well and eating good with Cleveland first quarter, and in most cases, Cleveland first half. Now, Cleveland first quarter is the play for me. They do better as dogs. I've said that before too, Corey. They do better as dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I like them better as dogs. So this is probably a game that I'm going to think hard on. I might pull the trigger on Houston first quarter and Cleveland first half. I'm thinking about that. Only just how the numbers work. But yeah, this is a game that I think that you got two young coaches in JB and Paul Silas. It's going to be a chess match in the first quarter and first half. But I'm anxious to see this game, to see how these young boys play. What are you liking on this game? Any players, any sides? What do you see?
I'm loving Cleveland here tonight, man. They're just way too big for Houston, especially we've got Christian Wood is questionable tonight. If he doesn't end up going with that knee injury, Houston gets blown out here, man. Even their last game, Eric Gordon scored 32 points for him in that that great comeback in the fourth quarter. He's out tonight.
Vintage Eric Gordon.
Yeah, he's out tonight. Armani Brooks is still a little banged up. They said he's going to play. I just don't think they got enough, man. All their guards are out, all their scoring, all their ball handlers, and you're playing one of the best defensive teams. So as far as DFS goes, man, I think you could load up on some of those Cleveland big guys tonight. I don't think Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, these guys are going to have much resistance down low from Houston. But I mean, outside of somebody not playing here for Cleveland. I think this is their game.
Yeah, it's what they're doing over there in Cleveland is just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing, bro. And so I was already talking about you probably need to look at JB as coach of the year right now for what he's done with this team, without arguably the best player on that team being Young Bull. So what he's doing is absolutely amazing. I like just the way this team is playing as a team. They're playing fundamental basketball. So shout out to him, man. I couldn't even disagree with you on Cleveland. Haven't gotten full game, but I probably would tell you on that. I'll look deeper into these numbers, but yeah, heavy lean right now on Cleveland first half here, possibly Houston first quarter, but Cleveland first half. All right, man. We are down to the last two games. We have got the Indiana Pacers at Milwaukee Bucks. Looking at this line last night, nothing's changed, but money has come on Indy, which is crazy to me. And I just think that's because of the news that's also come out of Milwaukee with Giannis going into protocols, health and safety protocols. This was Milwaukee -1.5. So I think the books kind of prepared for that. You do have Chris Middleton with a knee injury. Right now, this is Milwaukee -1, with that total being 217. There was no total on yesterday. Milwaukee's pretty good at home. Pacers not so much on the road, right? So really trying to understand why this number would be the way it is, unless there is some issues coming out of Milwaukee right now. Don't have a play on this game, to be honest with you. If you don't have Giannis playing, then there's really nothing that I want to be involved in. You would still think that Milwaukee can get it done and would get it done, but when you've got Milwaukee out, you've got Matthews out. You don't have Giannis showing up just yet, but I do believe he was in health and safety protocols as of last night. Some news that came out. Yeah, I don't want any parts of this game right now until I figure out what's going on. Too many moving parts here. So this is a no play for me. I don't care about how short the line is. We know that Indy tricks off games in the second half. They're a great first half team. So if you want to have a lean, especially with the news of Milwaukee, you may want to look at them first half. What do you have here? Any sides players or anything that you like on this game?
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait. If Chris Middleton doesn't play, I think Drew Holiday becomes a great play tonight. Just he's going to have to shoulder the offensive load there for them. But as far as, other than that, man, this Milwaukee team's very, very inconsistent without Giannis. And on the Indiana side, when they're healthy, they're not very playable with LeVert and Brogdon and Sabonis, and you got Turner wanting out. So,
Yeah,
I mean, as good of a game this is, the Giannis news kind of kills it for me. So I'll look at Drew Holiday, especially if Middleton doesn't play, and that's about it for this game.
yeah, man. This one here, man, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these games today get canceled, right? I would not be surprised. And this could possibly be one of them, depending on how many people have it, right? Because when you have two, I mean, just like the Nets, if KD didn't play, the Nets don't play yesterday. Yeah. They don't play that game. KD plays, and they're able to to get a win in overtime versus Toronto. But I could easily see this game being canceled if you have a lot of players out because of health and safety protocols. So we'll see. This is a pass for me. All right, Corey, this is the last game of the slate here, man. Last game of not last game of the actual slate, but last game on our own slate on this show. And that is Miami Heat versus the 76ers, the Philly 76ers. We put the vintage 76ers logo there too for you. Yeah, man. Right now, this game was also off in the beginning. Looking at this game, it was off. That line was -5.5. That's gone to Philly, and it was no total. Right now, I'm still seeing that at 5.5, with the line being 207. Low scoring game here. Low scoring game, Corey. And I just do believe this is another one to where you've got set pieces out. You do have Embiid, who's possibly out, right? He's questionable on his ribs. Curry is questionable on his shoulder. And then you still have everybody questionable for Miami Heat, which I think this tailbone's a problem, man. Jimmy Butler has not been able to get it at all. So you've got Jimmy questionable. You've got Bam, who's definitely been out. Markeith Morey, who's out indefinitely. You've got Tyler Hero, who's questionable. So man, there's just nobody playing for the Heat right now. Kyle Lowry is really having to do this on his own, um, with Dwayne Dedman and Duncan Robinson. So it's just, man, to be honest with you, I have not been playing any Heat games, but they have come up to play. Right, even being decimated, they have come up to play. I do believe they were a decimated team when they beat Milwaukee. So looking at this game, if Joel Embiid does not play, this could possibly go to the Heat. Possibly. What do you like here, man? Anything, any players, props, any size? What are you looking at in this game?
Yeah, I do like the Miami players right now with all these injuries. So I do like Kyle Lowry. I think he's worth the money. PJ Tucker's been playing lights out lately. He's a great play at 5,300. And then Dwayne Dedman, for as long as he fills in for Bam at $5,000, I also think he's a great play. The problem is if Embiid doesn't go in this game, then Drummond is cheaper and becomes the better play there at center. On the Philly side, man, I just got to see who goes. If Seth Curry's out, Tyrese Maxey becomes a decent play.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, it's a tough game, man. So many injuries at the top. I'd probably lean, Maxey and Drummond if Embiid doesn't play, and I'll go Kyle Lowry, Tucker, and maybe Dedman on the Miami side.
Yeah, Yep. So I wanted to check the line on ESPN on here to see if there is anything different. I think, if I'm right, this is going to be a back-to-back for Philly here, right? So they're going to play tomorrow against Brooklyn. And it's just one of those games they've already played October 22nd, and they lost that game. So I don't know if you want to consider this a revenge game, but it'd be a good time to have a fresher Embiid with all these players out for Brooklyn, right? So I don't know if this game ends up being canceled. At this point, it can't, but if Kevin Durant is in any type of pain with that ankle, then they don't have the players and they could cancel this game. So I don't know if you're going to see Embiid sit. Maybe Embiid sits this game with the ribs and plays tomorrow. I don't know, but he's not going to play both games. One of these games he's going to go out on. So I could just see it being, possibly tomorrow's game he plays to get up for the better team and just, have Miami play against, the rest of the Sixers. Miami's decimated themselves. So I think if you're going to get up for a team that you lost against, maybe, you do want to get up against Brooklyn, who is also decimated. But I don't know if Embiid is going to play both games here. So we will see, man. We will see. My lean definitely would be nothing on this game. Absolutely nothing on this game at all. That is the slate, man. That is the slate. We've got a lot of games. Wouldn't be surprised if some games are canceled due to COVID. Once again, go ahead and give your for sure plays if you have any. You have any for sure looks that you've locked in on as of yet, Corey?
Right now, it's the Joker, man. I wish I could give more, but as of right now, the Joker is the one piece I wouldn't move out of my lineup. And then I do think those Spurs players, I haven't fully dialed on which ones I want to go with tonight, but the Spurs are going to be definitely one of the hottest plays tonight against that Charlotte defense.
Yeah, I am going, man, against this could be a Spurs trifecta, right? But I'm heavy on the Spurs. Only thing I don't do is touch the Spurs full game, especially against Charlotte, who's good in the second half. So I'm going Spurs first quarter against the spread. They are awesome there. I'm also going to look at Atlanta team total over. I think they can get it done. And then I'm going to look at Cleveland first half. Spurs first quarter, Cleveland first half, Atlanta team total over. Those are my leans right now. I will give the numbers later on in the I'll put it on the Twitterverse, if you want to call it that. I will put that in the Twitter sphere. What those numbers are going to be, but those are my heavy leans right now, man. Heavy leans with those three plays I've got for you now. Corey, we've did it again, brother. We have did it again, man. We have done it again.
Lots of news here.
Lots of news. Wait for it. Do not rush to the window. Instead of me asking where they can find you, I thought our viewers can just read at the bottom where they can find you. That way we don't have to keep saying, hey, you can find us here. But yeah, man, um, it's been a great day. We are looking for some great winners. I think we're going to have a good day today with this large slate. Just wait for the news. Until next time, man, y'all have a great day. Corey, you have a great day, brother. I will talk to you on the other side.
Sounds good.